People have raised $4 million for Charlie Kirk. $4 million. He and his wife are like multi-millionaires. You realize that, right? And you've raised $4 million for multi-millionaires when there are people surviving literal famine and genocide right now? That's great. Nobody can tell me that this is a grieving widow. Like, this woman's husband was publicly assassinated, 3 weeks ago, and she's already sitting down with a smile to host his podcast? Girl didn't even wait a month. I don't even know if they buried the guy yet. Holy.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
The world watched in stunned disbelief as news broke of Charlie Kirk's sudden and violent end. A prominent, often polarizing voice was silenced in a brutal, public fashion. But the story that emerged was far from simple. As the official narrative took shape, a dark undercurrent of suspicion began to swell. A feeling that what we were being told was a carefully constructed facade. This isn't just about a tragic loss. It's about a tangled web of deceit and an alleged cover-up that seems to stretch into the highest echelons of power. The story of a lone gunman has crumbled, replaced by a storm of accusations and shocking revelations that paint a far more sinister picture. Immediately following the devastating news, all eyes turned to Erika Kirk, Charlie's widow. Her behavior in the aftermath was, for many, the first major red flag. Her public appearances, especially her incredibly swift return to hosting his podcast with a smile, sparked intense debate and skepticism. It was a jarring image that many found impossible to reconcile with the profound grief expected from someone whose husband had been publicly assassinated just weeks prior. And she's already sitting down with a smile to host his podcast, one observer noted, perfectly capturing the public's unease. Her statements at the memorial were even more unsettling. As she stood on stage, her declaration of forgiveness for the alleged killer came across as strangely emotionless and hollow. It was a performance that even a 5-year-old actress could put up better, leaving many convinced that her display of sorrow was not just staged, but a deliberate act of misdirection. Whispers quickly turned into accusations, with a growing number of people believing she knew Charlie was destined to be silenced and may have even played a role in the sinister plan.
In case you needed one more reason why the funeral that they held for Charlie Kirk was just heavily propagandized political theater, Turning Point Action, which is the political action arm of Turning Point USA, literally had a booth outside the stadium where they had the memorial service, enticing people to register to vote Republican. And they had a literal sign that was like, "Do it for Charlie." They dead-ass propagandized a funeral to get people to register to vote for them.
While suspicion swirled around Erika, the official narrative swiftly pinpointed a suspect, Tyler Robinson, a two-year-old. The FBI released surveillance footage they claimed was him and announced his DNA was found on the rifle's trigger and other items at the rooftop vantage point. To cement the story, reports circulated that his own parents had recognized him from blurry photos and handed him over to the authorities. The charges laid against Robinson were exceptionally severe, including aggravated murder and a capital felony, carrying the terrifying weight of a potential death penalty or a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole.
Mr. Robinson, for count 1, aggravated murder, a capital felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-5-202, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly created a great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie Kirk and the defendant. Notice conviction of this offense may carry the death penalty or pursuant to Utah Code 76-3-207.7, a mandatory term of imprisonment for life without parole or an indeterminate term of not less than 25 years, and that may be for life.
Yet, despite these seemingly damning details, an unsettling number of people refused to accept this simple explanation. Doubts lingered, fueling the idea that Tyler Robinson was not a killer, but a pawn, a conveniently chosen fall guy, meticulously set up to obscure a far more intricate and disturbing truth. It was at this moment that Candace Owens, a former colleague and fierce advocate for Charlie, stepped into the fray. She immediately and publicly challenged the prevailing narrative, refusing to see Tyler Robinson as anything more than a small variable in a much larger, darker equation. Owens unleashed explosive allegations that shifted the entire focus of the investigation. She claimed that weeks before Charlie's passing, billionaire Bill Ackman had orchestrated a private intervention in the Hamptons. The alleged motive was chillingly clear: to pressure Charlie Kirk into aligning with a particular agenda concerning Israel. When Charlie steadfastly refused to compromise his principles, Owens contends the situation escalated into threats and blackmail. Threats were made, she declared, detailing how these powerful figures operate. Do what we say, or we'll ruin your life. We're going to call up all our friends, and we'll just start writing hit pieces about you. We'll have your sponsors drop. We'll sue you for everything you have. She painted a harrowing picture of a powerful cabal attempting to coerce Charlie, leaving little doubt in her followers' minds that his steadfast principles ultimately cost him his life. But Candace Owens was far from finished. She intensified her campaign, taking to Instagram to expose what she damningly termed a federal concoction, a coordinated lie involving both the FBI and Erika Kirk.
Erika Kirk, man, she really is just the moment. The speech that she gave, everybody was just wowed by her. I felt my energy personally, like last night going into that, I was effectively like soaring in the air above the convention center, like a dragon above, waiting for Erika to just be like, fire. And I was just gonna come down and swoop in out of nowhere. All the politicians, all the fake people, everyone was just gonna be, in that moment, toast.
Owens asserted that the blurry images of Tyler Robinson allegedly leaving the rooftop were not just unconvincing, but outright fake. Even more damning, she claimed the story of his parents confirming his identity and reporting him was a complete fabrication, a piece of fiction designed to sell the official story. Owens meticulously dismantled the media's narrative that Tyler had self-harming thoughts before the incident, insisting that Tyler has consistently maintained his innocence and adamantly stated he had never even been to the UVU campus. In a bold and stunning move, she declared that the federal government was lying about absolutely everything surrounding the case, save for the undeniable fact that the gun was registered to Tyler. Adding a powerful voice to this chorus of dissent, Jaguar Wright, known for her outspoken and often controversial takes, threw her full support behind Candace Owens' allegations. Wright articulated a chilling theory that resonated with many. The feds were exploiting Tyler Robinson as a convenient scapegoat, a distraction to shield Erika Kirk and other powerful billionaires who were, in reality, deeply entangled in Charlie's demise. Then, Jaguar Wright introduced a truly stunning accusation that took the conspiracy to a global level.
So, I want to talk about that ammo, how it hit him. Because they were trying to make it seem like it came from the roof, that kind of ammo, going through a neck. It should have went through and came out the other side. And then upon exit, there should have been spray. There were people that were sitting behind him. Did they catch anybody with, blood on them? Did we see anybody around him with blood?
Erika Kirk, she alleged, was a member of a foreign intelligence agency, strategically planted in Charlie's life to gather intelligence and ultimately facilitate his removal when the time was right. Wright also broke down the logistical absurdities of the official story, pointing to the lack of blood spatter and comparing it to the JFK assassination as evidence of a professional, clean job. She, like others, questioned how Tyler could have roamed a college campus with a rifle without a single person noticing. Do they really think that we're that stupid? A voice in the original video asked, perfectly encapsulating the widespread disbelief.
Oh, this giant thing that's wrapped in a towel? It's a pool cue, a guitar science project. It's a psychological operation to see if people really believe what the FBI say, but it's definitely not a rifle. Do they really think that we're that fucking stupid? There's gonna be no videos of this guy walking around with this in a towel, or in a backpack that doesn't fit, or down his fucking pant leg. This is my shortest rifle, okay? We're not fucking stupid.
A little deeper, why did a private jet take off from a private airport 12 minutes from the with this radar illegally turned off for 20 minutes after the assassination? It's gaslighting. They're trying to charge up. They want a race war. They want mayhem in the streets. We know that this is a professional hit. There was a clear spotter in the back that grabbed his hat twice. And that's a signal for a sniper to, And then somebody judged the distance, checked the arm that come right up to Charlie's neck.
How many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence?
Clearly, those are signals by two men to someone in front of them.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
It was a professional hit. They seen somebody crawling on the roof and then, they just found some old wrinkled up man and said he did it. Oh, yeah, okay. So he can carry a high-powered rifle and shoot and all that. And he yelling out, who does that? Unless he's a paid actor.
As these explosive theories gained traction, the internet erupted with even more unsettling speculation. Public forums and comment sections began to draw connections between Erika Kirk and the infamous Epstein files, with some alleging her role as a recruiter within that dark network. Accusations surfaced of Erika's involvement in a sinister ring, operating under the guise of philanthropic orphanage activities, and her alleged ties to controversial figures like the Tate brothers, Donald Trump, and Epstein himself. Commentators with a keen eye for detail suggested Charlie's end bore all the hallmarks of a professional hit. The conflicting narratives and persistent doubts surrounding Charlie Kirk's death have left an indelible stain on his legacy. The accusations leveled against his wife, against powerful billionaires, and even against federal agencies paint a grim picture of manipulation and betrayal. As the public grapples with these shocking revelations, one question looms larger than all others. What hidden forces were truly at play in silencing Charlie Kirk? And will the full-blown, unvarnished truth ever see the light of day? The story we've been told is unraveling, and what lies beneath is a profoundly disturbing mystery that refuses to be buried.